asked about fasting on the recommended days of the 3 white days of every month, 13th, 14th, and 15th. Then of every lunar month, of course. She says, can I have dual intentions for these days to also count as my days that I missed during Ramadan? So I'm making qaza. Meanwhile, I'm fasting the recommended fasting. This is an issue which has been discussed thoroughly between the scholars from the very first till now, pertaining a mas'ala which is known as at-tashriku fi niyya, the overlapping of the ibadat, or combining more than one act of worship, more than one physical worship with the same intention. For instance, can I pray 2 rak'ahs of sunnah, the emphatic sunnah? Meanwhile, it counts as the greeting of the masjid, or the 2 rak'ahs of Eid, meanwhile, because I did not get to pray subh, would be both are okay, the same? We'll find out. At-tashriku fi niyya, or combining 2 ibadat in one intention, depends. So there are some cases where you may do that, and some cases. If we have 2 ibadat, one which is intended for itself, because it's either fard or nafl, or another one, and the other one is intended for a specific reason, such as a place. Give the example of the greeting of the masjid. Tahiyatul masjid is intended why? It does not have a specific time, but it is because of the place. Whenever you enter a masjid, you should offer the greeting of the masjid. Well, what if I enter the masjid and it's already adhan time, I heard the adhan, will I get to pray tahiyatul masjid, or get to pray the emphatic sunnah before Dhuhr, for instance, or before Fajr? As a matter of fact, by praying the emphatic sunnah of before Fajr, or before Dhuhr, or any sunnah before any prayer, it is sufficient. And that will waive the requirement of offering independent 2 rak'ahs for Tahiyatul Masjid. Another example where it's permissible to combine 2 things in one. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith in Sahih Imam al-Bukhari, غُسْلُ الْجُمُعَةِ وَاجِبٌ عَلَى كُلِّ مُحْتَلِمٍ. It's a must for every adult to perform ghusl on Friday, obviously before going to the Friday prayer, so that you will look nice, smell nice, and so on. The scholars understood from that it is an emphatic sunnah, not a fard. It is highly recommended for every person who's going to Friday prayer to make ghusl. Great. What if somebody just had an intimate relationship with his spouse and he's due to perform ghusl, and that was after Fajr? Does he have to take another ghusl for Friday? No, this one is sufficient, because the mission is accomplished. The purpose is to smell good, to appear good, to remove any impurities. And that was accomplished via performing ghuslul janaba. The wudu, as I discussed in the first question when one of the brothers, Brother Mahbub, I believe, Brother Mahbub from United Arab Emirates, asked this question. So the ghusl will be sufficient. But I have a fard and I have a sunnah. Can I combine them together because they have the same physical mechanism with one intention? Can I fast on Monday and on Thursday, and I intend this is the sunnah because the Prophet ﷺ used to fast, and meanwhile I'm fasting because I'm fulfilling a vow, or I'm making up the missed days during Ramadan? Here we say, no, you cannot combine the 2 intentions. But if you are a person who normally fasts on these days, or if you happen to make up those missed days during Mondays and Thursdays, the 3 white days, or during Ashura, or during Arafah, you get the reward of your intention of making up the fard, or the mandatory nadhr. Fine. Done. Meanwhile, you will receive the barakah of the coincidence of happening that fasting on such blessed days. But you cannot have these 2 intentions two in one, because each ibadah is independent. You cannot have this overlapping in the intentions. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Which also means, with regards to the 6 white days, the 6 days of Shawwal. The 6 days of Shawwal. No one can say, I am making up the next days of Ramadan, meanwhile, these are my 6 days of Shawwal. It's either one of the two.